So the show continues to touch on some pretty serious topics this season, including eating disorders, self-harm, abortion. How do you handle that while making it relatable and digestible to the viewer?
Yeah, I think because the characters go through that, that kind of is what makes it relatable, just because like we are all dealing with all sorts of stuff. But we work really closely with Mental Health America, and we have since season one, as well as having Dr. Taji, our psychologist, who is really instrumental in crafting the arc of the character's mental health. She's also been with us since season one. So each season we huddle with her and we get her feedback on the season beforehand. And we talk to her about the journey we want to take the characters through. So we're honestly, before we even get into plot, thinking about the character's mental health and the journey of that. Yeah.
Well, that's great. And I feel like you've done it in a way that it's not off-putting to the viewer. We can,
Yeah.
feel for them, relate to them, and it doesn't totally divert the storyline either. It really fits in with each character depending on what they're
Yeah.
going through.
I appreciate that. I mean, I think we really want to come from a place of honesty and truth,
Mhm.
but never leave hope behind.
Yeah.
Like we're not just trying to do some sort of like, trauma for trauma's sake or
Mhm.
trauma porn. Like it really is based in mental health and rooted in character.
Speaking of hope, Georgia is free and in the clear now, as far as we know. Um, but we see a different side to her. She's more vulnerable than we've ever really seen her. Do
Yeah.
you think we're going to see more of the same in season four, or is she going to go back to her devious ways?
Well, that's the question
Mhm.
because I think that like she really does want to change, and we
Yeah.
see that in episode 10 of season 3. Episode 10 of season 3 really serves as a bridge in between seasons because we were
Mhm.
blessed with a two-season pickup, yay. So, we get to go from 3 to 4. So when we
Yeah.
were crafting episode 10, the action and the problem of season 3 resolves itself in the first 20 minutes of the episode,
Yeah.
and then you've got the rest of the episode to really like set up the runway to jump into season 4.
Mhm. Yeah, and I mean, she's really used her pretty privilege up to this point, but
Yes.
how far can that take her and how far can that Southern charm really work on the people of Wellsbury?
I mean, it got her out of a murder.
Yeah.
How far can it take you? I don't know. I don't know if there's a limit to how far George's charm can take her. I think that she understands that her beauty is a weapon and
Mhm.
she weaponizes it effectively. However, if we are seeing a new change, Georgia, going forward in season 4, I think it is a question of how does she navigate the world without the tools that she's typically used in her toolbox to survive, right? Because she
Yeah.
she knows what's on the line. I mean, her entire relationship with her children is what's on the line here,
Mhm.
and she's kind of committed to starting a new leaf. I mean, you see it a lot in season 3. She's, I'm not a bad person. Am I a bad mom? I mean, she has a reckoning. So now when she's moving forward, I think that question you asked is the question of the season is can she?
And I know you can't give too much away, but will we get to see Gil's trial play out? Because we were kind of left with the finger being pointed at him, but what's going to happen with Gil?
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to get a trial or not with Gil. I think the idea was really that because we had a lawyer who was also a
Hmm.
consultant on the show this season, Bruce, love Bruce, and he really guided Josh. He was, I mean, we kind of based Josh off of Bruce, but he's phenomenal, and he's done this a bunch for a bunch of different shows, and it's wild because as theatrical and nonsensical as aspects of George's trial can seem, Bruce assures us it could all happen that way. So that was,
Wow.
but his whole thing was reasonable doubt. Like you just
Yeah.
need reason. I'm talking like the whole thing is reasonable doubt. Like as if right. One of the thrills of my life was typing objection, like as if I'm doing a court show now. But no, so reasonable doubt was really the thing. And as soon as Austin fingered Gil,
Hmm.
for the crime, I mean, that was reasonable doubt. I mean, that's how she got off. It's not necessarily that there's going to be a new murder investigation into it. I mean, there might be, but yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Given the implications for Gil, we see Austin, change a bit, and it
Mhm.
does start to affect him as he's starting to miss his dad and
Yeah.
kind of shift from that innocent Austin that we've known so far to a more grown up, I mean, growth spurt aside, but grown up, kind of angry Austin that we're not used to seeing. And at the end, he doesn't want to have anything to do with his sister. And I'm not sure his mom either.
Yeah. Which now that he's not 9 anymore, he's
Mhm.
10, 11, 12. It's there's this idea that he's no longer just the kid who's along for the ride and unquestioning on George's side, right? Now he's entering the chat in kind of a new real way in the sense that, yeah, he just went through this horrible trauma.
Mhm.
Ginny's changed, Georgia
Yeah.
has changed, Austin has changed. Like there's zero way to go through what they just went through this season and be unchanged, right?
Yeah.
And Ginny kind of talks about that in her monologue at the end there. And I think that with Austin, we are seeing him go through two changes at once. It's the trauma coming off of what he just endured, but then it's also the fact that he's growing up,
Hmm.
right? Because now he's 10, 11, 12. So he's growing up. And now it's this idea that like he's a preteen and that's not always the easiest age,
Yeah.
regardless of all this other that's gone down.